Welcome, sales and marketing peeps, our sales and marketing peeps, to Making Sales Social Live, coming to you from the Social Sales Link virtual studios. I'm Bob Woods of Social Sales Link, and in the co-host and bird dog seat with me, that's probably not right, is fellow SSLer and LinkedIn and social selling strategy trainer and coach. She's also known as the LinkedIn Whisperer, Bryn Tillman. What's up, Bryn? How you doing?
Hey, Bob, I'm doing well.
Welcome to Making Sales Social Live, as we share LinkedIn and social selling training, strategies, and tips that will have an immediate impact on your business. Join Bryn Tillman and me, Bob Woods, every week. Making Sales Social Live. This is the recorded version of our weekly Making Sales Social Live show.
That's from
What's
Honey.
the origin?
That's that is the person who I think is with you and who kind of spots things.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. When you're hunting birds.
Yeah, when you're hunting birds, although I think it applies to like anything. I think that's where it started.
No, I'm talking about what the origin was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're it's fine.
Wait, you know
We are
what?
here
My
to answer
mute isn't
questions.
working. My mute isn't working, and I thought I muted. And my dog is barking. But I hit mute. And it didn't work. So you heard me say we're live when I was live because I thought I muted to say that. Okay. Welcome to the week before the holidays.
Exactly. Everybody is like here, but they're kind of not. And as the week goes on, they're gonna kind of not be here more and more as things go along. So that's fine. And that's actually what we're going to be kind of talking about, because 2024 is almost here. If you're with us live right now, you definitely know that. If you're listening to us on the podcast, you're probably wondering, what are they talking about? It's already 2024. So this is definitely going to air in January for that. So no worries about that. You're not lost. It's just recorded. So among many other things.
Okay, go ahead. I am all over the place. This is like squirrel day. So I'm going to back up and I'm going to let you talk. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, because Bryn is actually not. She's aware of the general topic, but I told her ahead of time that I'm going to go in a specific direction. She doesn't know where it's going because I want her initial reaction to this. So she doesn't know what's going on, except for the fact that she knows that we're talking about looking at your LinkedIn profile for 2024. So we are going to be talking about specific elements like we always do, but I didn't want one of those, if in your profile, you need to look at your headline, you need to do blah, 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 because we've talked about that and I'm bored with talking about that. So instead, what we're going to do is I'm going to make a suggestion about a specific mindset that you need to have beyond the from resume to resource thing. So I'm going to suggest that before you do anything, that you really need to dial into the problems that your customers and prospects are facing, because I'm betting that they might have changed completely. They probably have either changed completely or have been altered since the last time you looked at your profile, and your current profile isn't addressing those problems. What do you think about that, Bryn?
Well, first, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, because I'm having mute problems. But so I think that's a brilliant way to start, right? What are your clients, your prospects going through right now? One of the things I learned from David Newman a long time ago, and we love him over it.
Yes, absolutely.
Do it marketing.
Do it MBA.
Do it MBA. Do it everything.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the things I learned from him, I'm going to say 12, 13, 14 years ago, is take a deep dive into what your prospects need before they know they need you.
Yep.
Right.
100%.
Right. So look, what are they doing? What are they Googling? What are they reading? What are they consuming at a step or two before they will need your products and services? Because that is where we need to start influencing. So I love this. What are the challenges your customers, before you write your profile? Know this. I think it's great, Bob.
And also know that they've changed. They have probably changed. And I think that that's probably the bigger issue here is that people are going, oh, yeah, my profile does all that. Does your profile really do all of that? Especially nowadays. I mean, because things have changed tremendously in 2023 and going into 2024. I bet. I mean, because I just looked at mine and just with some of the things that we're doing internally here at Social Sales Link, I'm going to have to change my profile somewhat because of this. And that's how all of this got started, is because we're going to be doing some new things. And because we do know the problems and the situations, and it's like, my profile really, it doesn't talk about this stuff right now. So you really need to go into it with like that type of lens, because I guarantee you that if you don't go into it with that type of lens about the changes, you're just going to look at it and go, oh, it's fine, it's not that big of a deal. Go into it with the thought of, what are my peeps facing now, and what do I need to change or to improve so that my profile and then by extension all of your content and everything else, all of that flows from this. But specifically with the profile, are your customers and prospects, when they land on it, are they going to resonate with what their problems are right now because they've changed?
I love that. I mean, this touches us personally at Social Sales
Yes,
Link
it
and
does.
our clients,
100%.
right?
Yep.
So one of the things, I mean, in our all hands on deck meeting this morning, Bob, you said, we need to start to truly put out the message that we have a strong focus on helping AI with LinkedIn and social selling, with content creation, right? So that shift in our profile has to happen. I mean, I think I say LinkedIn and ChatGPT, but the levels that you're diving into and that we're going to be providing is solving a problem that was not in the marketplace last year.
Right. 100%.
Like if last December we were saying we're going to have a huge focus on AI and LinkedIn and social selling, people be like, AI? What do you mean a huge focus on this? What are you talking about, right? But this year, that is the number one curiosity question challenge that our prospects are facing. So I love this direction, Bob.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, and sometimes, so obviously we're rolling out new services to adjust to this. But even if you're not rolling out new services, I guarantee you that what you have right now, you can still address the new challenges or the adjusted challenges, however you want to put it, that your customers and your prospects are facing. Reframe that, because even though your internal stuff may not have changed, they have changed. So you have to change your content and especially your profile to address those changes.
All right, we have some work to do.
Yeah, we do. We all do. And by we, it's 100% including us, which is why I was so glad that we had already slated and promised to talk about profiles. And like I said before, I didn't want to go in and go, okay, make sure that your headline addresses blah, 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 blah. We really need to take this with a much more strategic focus, especially because there's been just so many changes in almost any industry. You need to address those within the landscape. So let's talk about how to do that. Top of fold, Bren.
So the top of the fold is like the top of a newspaper, right? This has got to grab your attention and get them interested. So it's funny, you just said, I don't want to talk about but we're going to talk about for a moment.
But in that adjustment type.
We had to start with the deeper strategy, right? Like I think the point is we don't want to just go into a headline without that deeper knowledge of what's 100%. The value we're truly bringing to our client. So once we have that, and by the way, a lot of social listening, a lot of social asking, maybe you
social asking is the other thing that I wanted to bring up. You got to ask.
Yeah, like in a poll, what is their number one challenge concern happening in 2024? If you're a realtor, it's very different than it was 2 years ago. Right? Like all of these things, and even if you think they haven't changed, they've changed. So the top of the fold needs to change with you. Now, the biggest change I would say is the banner, which should be changed all the time anyway. This is great real estate to help you draw traffic where you want to draw them. And whether it's just your brand recognition with a logo, or you have an event coming up and you use it like a billboard. In fact, this is on my list of what to in my activities on LinkedIn this year, because we have so many events and rarely are we updating our banners to reflect that. So 100%. What I'm saying, normally it's very important to me that we practice what we teach. So as I'm teaching this, I'm also going to say, I'm going to start to practice it. I used to do it more, and then I think I got a little lazy. And I think what we have to do, and by the way, with Canva these days, it's so easy to do this, guys. And if you don't have the talent or time or resources to do it, hop on Upwork or Fiverr.com. For $10, you can get a really powerful branded background banner. And if you can't find someone there, reach out to us. I'm sure we could do it for $10. No, I'm kidding. But we can help you. Actually, you can come to one of our be our guest to coaching, and we can help you there. So actually, we can do it for free. If you come on in, just go to socialsaleslink.com/events. Our next one, if you're live, our next one is this Thursday, December 21st. If you're listening to this in podcast or a replay, it is once a month. So if you go to socialsaleslink.com/events and scroll down, you can bring your profile questions, including banner, and we can help you with that. So also, top of the fold is your photo, your headline. Now, and there's now a ton of other things like services that you provide and links. If you have premium links to a website or book a call, there's so much now in the top of the fold, but you've got to take advantage of it.
Yep. So the next section that we're going to hit on really quick is your about section, especially because the way that we do the about sections, one of the very first things that you're addressing are the challenges that your customers, your prospects are facing. So you talk about just a prime place to identify that you know what they're facing, and then build the rest of the about section around that. If you have an old concern up there that someone comes in and looks at it and goes either, yeah, well, that's a concern, but I'm really concerned about X. If you don't have that in there, or if they're even like, oh, I'm not concerned about that anymore, I'm concerned much more about X. If you don't know what that X is, and if you're not promoting that, they're gone. Absolutely gone.
Yeah. So what is your advice? I mean, look, I love profiles. I did profiles for years and years and years, but for the last 2 years, Bob, you've done at least 3 or 4 profiles a week for our clients. So tell me what you're seeing is most successful. I'm throwing the question back to you.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, just knowing and being able to state, as a professional who does X, you're probably, and this is just off the top of my head, so of course I'm going to stumble with it, but as a professional who does X, you may be facing problems with Y. I mean, because you do 2 things there. Number one, you're identifying your audience of prospects by saying that as a professional in X, whatever X is for you, solve for X, as they say, and then your problems with, you may be having problems with another X or whatever. That's really where you get to show that you are in tune with what it is they're facing, and hopefully why they're even at your profile in the first place. So you really need to do that starting with the headline, maybe the banner, depending on what you do with the banner, but you really start that with the headline, and then that flows down to the about section. You really need to tell them that what their problem is, and you do that by identifying it and which is why this whole thing that got me started on, I guess this is a rant now, about about truly knowing what their problem is, and also recognizing internally, at least, that their concerns have probably changed. And you can even address that a little bit more in the about section. You may have had this problem, but now this problem is much more paramount. That way you can also show a little bit of depth there too. But definitely let them know that you know why they're there, because they have this monumental problem that's probably different from what their problem used to be.
Yeah. And then what do you recommend you do as far as insights? So a lot of people, like, providing value, them experience you by bringing the value. Some of the pushback we get, and I have my thoughts, I'm curious on yours, is, well, I don't want to give it all away. I don't want, they have to talk to me to get insights. What are your thoughts around how to overcome that question that we get a lot, the objection?
Yeah. So I think that that's really simple, because number one, you don't have to give away the candy store. You can provide a couple of like really top level insights to where the only thing that it's really doing is getting them to start thinking differently about their situation. And you can do that without going through step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Just have like a simple declarative statement up there that gets them thinking a little differently about their situation. Because generally speaking, once they start thinking differently, they also start to open up their minds to other possibilities about solving their problems. The other big thing is, most of the time when people have this concern that Bryn just shared, they are not thinking about, okay, it's going to take these people a lot to overcome this. And most of these people, they may read this stuff and they may think about it, but then life happens and they won't be able to complete it. That's why you need to say, hey, I'm the person who can help you out with these, especially if you don't have time to do them. Sometimes you just got to say that. If you don't have time to do this stuff, bring me on. I'll help you out with it. Obviously, put it a different way, but that's the message that you're trying to bring. I'm the expert. I know what's going on. Here's how I can help you alleviate your problem, and do it in a way that, we work together. You don't have to do all this stuff on your own. You can be guided by an expert.
So, I love that. I think that all boils down to the job of especially the about section on LinkedIn, but also the featured and some other sections.
Yep.
Is to earn the right to get the conversation. And the only way we can earn the right is by providing enough value that gets them to want more. So I think you're right.
Right.
You don't have to give away everything, but you've got to give away some awesome tips. You can't give away like, because what the job of this is for them to say, oh my gosh, I got so much from this. I can't wait to have the conversation.
Yeah.
So 100%. I love that.
100%. And then speaking of the featured section, because that's what I was going to go to next. And this is where I started talking a little bit about, this, because you're probably going to have to go through some discovery in terms of finding out what their current problem is. So you can start developing content based on that. And then you put that content in the featured section, because I guarantee you that with the shift of their concerns that they have, anything that's in your featured section right now is probably not addressing those new or adjusted concerns. So find out what the concerns are, through polling or through a LinkedIn post, or actually talking to some of your current customers and saying, what's up now, or whatever. All of those ways and more, even just social listening in general too. And I think that that's really important, because sometimes people will say stuff in social that they may not tell you personally. So definitely social listen as well. Bring all that together, start putting out that content that addresses these concerns, because you'll obviously get benefits from that as well. But then put that into the featured section.
I love that. Love that. So it's funny, I'm seeing comments on my mobile coming through, but I'm not seeing. Oh, here. Let's see. We have.
Well, if that's the
just
case,
a
we
couple.
apologize about that. There's something wrong.
Yeah, a couple little ones. We have some hellos coming in, but I am seeing some other
Okay. Why don't
questions
you go ahead and just
coming
read
up.
them then, because I don't have my mobile open right now. So
Okay. So I have one question is, what if you have, wait, I read it. What if
yeah, just
we
read it.
have more than one job? How do we leverage our profile? That wasn't exactly the words, but that was, I have 2 jobs. How do I write my profile? That's really the question.
Yeah, that one's always a
You want
tough
me to
one.
start?
Why don't you go ahead and start? Because I always have
No,
like
I'm
several thoughts and they all
easy
collide
with
with
that.
one another.
Yeah, I love this. So there's the first question I always ask is, are they aligned jobs? Do they have anything to do with each other? Is there a common denominator? If the answer is yes, you can build it around solving a common problem for maybe there's 2 marketplaces, whatever that might be. But let's say you say no. One of them is my day job, and one of them I'm an entrepreneur launching my own company, which is most likely the case, right? That's often what we see. So if that's the case, I actually had a client do this very, very well, which the headline was, I wear 2 hats. By day, this was the job, and by evening, it was actually like an event planning, not exactly event planning, but around event planning job, right? And it got a lot of traction. She ended up working her out of the corporate job and was able to do that. But the next question, though, you go, okay, well, that could be confusing. Well, is your current job in a business development role? Do you need LinkedIn for the day job? If the answer is no, you can list it as a current position, but build the rest of the profile around the job that you're selling, or job that
Right.
you're using LinkedIn for. So the biggest challenge is when you are selling 2 very different things to 2 very different audiences at different times. And in this case, we still recommend that you do both. And you could say, I wear 2 hats, or whatever way you want to do that. But then you have 2 very distinctive company pages for each of those companies. And then a lot of the content should start in that company page, and then so it's really clear at which brand you're talking about. Anyway, that's my thought around that. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't even yes and any of that. I mean, that's all essentially what I would say too. I mean, sometimes you can get away with just one, especially if you're not using the other one for LinkedIn, but most of the people are in the scenario that Bryn kind of wrapped her comment up with, and that's just, chef's kiss advice there, right there. Mwah. Exactly.
Not too much salt. Not too much salt
Not
in
too
the
much
chef's
salt,
kiss.
not too much pepper,
I didn't know
and
it was salty.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I guess
Well, what's next?
yeah, so just because we're hitting up a little bit of a time constraint here, I'm only going to mention skills and recommendations. So skills up, if you need, absolutely look at your skills to make sure that they are client facing. So in other words, if you're an expert at Microsoft Excel, no one out there cares about Microsoft Excel unless you're looking for a job. But remember, again, resume to resource, what are the skills that people who are searching for your type of product, service, profession, whatever, what are they looking for? And also, again, keep an eye to the fact that your skills may have to change a little bit if their problems have changed as well. So definitely keep an eye to that. And then recommendations. This is something that you're not going to be able to work on immediately, but as you start to solve the problems, that the new or adjusted problems that people have, make sure you get recommendations from them, specifically stating that they helped with whatever their shift was, because whatever their shift was, other people who are looking at you are going through the same shift. Shift, change, whatever you are.
I heard
shift.
I didn't hear the F.
Oh, shift. Yeah, we don't want an explicit label on this episode. Yes, exactly.
Shift. I'm like, oh yeah, that too.
Yes, that too. Exactly.
Yeah. No,
exactly.
You know what? All of this is great and important. I know you're for time. I'm just gonna go back and just throw in, look at your featured section and make sure the content that's there is relevant. Because we had all that. We have all that. And guys, join us for Be Our Guest to Coaching, where you can bring all your profile questions. If you are live or watching this now, which if you're listening, it would be now too, so that doesn't make much sense. But if you are here in December 21st, Thursday, it is our last coaching of the year. So come join us. Go to socialsaleslink.com/events, scroll down, register. It's free. We'll help you with your profile. We're very, very excited. And that is Thursday, the 21st. If you are listening to this on the podcast or replay, guess what? If you go to socialsaleslink.com/events, there will be another one in January and in February. We do it once a month. So join us. We'd love to have you. All right, bring it in for a. Oh wait, you know what? You said something that I wanted to say something about, and then I didn't. So I'm going to go. I know, but I have to do this because I was so excited. So you said, repeat your candy line that you said in the beginning. It was like you don't have to give away. You don't have to give away all the candy.
You don't have to give away the entire candy store.
Yes, that's it. Okay. So you said, for context, Bob said you don't have to give away the entire candy store. But if you're from New Jersey or you go to the Jersey Shore every year, in front of every single candy store, they're giving away free fudge. Why? Mm-hmm. So you can taste it and then you want to go in and buy it. So the content on your About section is the free fudge.
Exactly. If I could drop my mic without breaking it and having to pay another couple $100 for a new one, I would do that right now. That's an excellent way to look at it. And that is probably bring it in. I was going to say, and that is the best way to wrap up this episode. So thanks again for joining us on Making Sales Social Live. If you're with us here on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or X, formerly known as Twitter right now, we do this every week. So keep an eye out for our live sessions. Listening to us on our podcast, go ahead and hit that subscribe or follow button if you haven't done so already. If you want more info about the podcast and everything that we do, socialsaleslink.com/podcast is where you want to go. And we do this weekly. We also have our interview series. All of that stuff is in the podcast page. So just go there or continue on your favorite podcast listening platform, whatever that might be.
Don't miss an episode. Visit socialsaleslink.com/podcast. Leave a review down below. Tell us what you think, what you learned, and what you want to hear from us next. Register for free resources at linkedinlibrary.com. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Play. Visit our website, socialsaleslink.com, for more information.